again, everyone. Welcome into Season 3 of the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's the former 5-time MLB All-Star Adam Jones. I'm back in Baltimore. He's down in Florida. We'll both be in Sarasota throughout March. This is episode number 60, AJ. And after opening with the governor of Maryland, then pivoting to Manny Machado, we're going to chat with the new Orioles ace, Corbin Burnes. Following the conversation with Burnes, Adam and I are going to talk about the All-Star game concept and the way it's gone south, especially with the NBA and NFL, and whether it has a place in pro sports anymore. We'll also discuss the big focus on court storming. It's become a hot topic in lieu of what happened at Duke and Caitlin Clark. And why is it permitted at the collegiate level when the pros don't allow it? Plus, another round of Socially Speaking. We'll respond to one of your social media posts, correspondences. But we begin, of course, with our featured guest, Corbin Burnes, the Orioles ace, who was brought to us by our friends at Jimmy's Famous Seafood, which will have Brady Anderson and Nick Markakis there for their opening day tailgate. Just less than a month away now. Get your tickets before they're gone. And let's bring in Corbin Burnes right now, the new Oriole and the ace. Welcome. Now, Corbin, thanks for being here. And tell us, when the trade came down, and I have to tell you, Adam Jones has been pimping for you to become an Oriole since this podcast began over 18 months ago. Were you caught off guard when the deal went down?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me on. But yeah, definitely. Just especially for how late it was in the end of the off season. Gosh, at that point, I think I was 12 days away from reporting to camp. So, definitely caught me off guard, especially with some of the moves that Milwaukee had made, and that being that late. But I was ready to go to camp. I was prepared. I was already starting to go in there to throw bullpens and live BPs. So I was ramping up spring, ready to go, and then got that phone call that I've been traded to the Baltimore Orioles. And immediately the first 48 hours are kind of crazy, figuring out living as far as getting down to Sarasota, find a place to live in Baltimore, travel arrangements for the family, that kind of stuff. But then once I got a second to breathe a little bit, it was exciting. It's an exciting organization to be a part of. Obviously, the best team in the AL last year, won 101 games, get into the postseason. Exciting young group, good group of guys to be around. It's been nothing but good since I've been here.
So real quickly, you found a spot in Baltimore. You're all set?
Yep. We got all that taken care of pretty quickly, so we don't have to worry about it once camp started. So yeah, we're all set on that front now.
Good.
Money does that. No, but I want to. I'm gonna get to your time with obviously your brothers now with the Orioles, but I want to talk about the time in Milwaukee. That's where you started. That's where they gave you your first opportunity to be who you are. Your brothers, your friendships there, the city of Milwaukee, some brats like you. They groomed you to be who you are. So just wanted to just to give a little love to your former organization and all the relationships that you built there. I was traded, so I still have those relationships, and those relationships will never go away.
Yeah, like you said, man, you're still talking to teammates on a daily basis. Staff still reaches out, checking on you, see how you're doing. Because, like you say, I was there in that organization for 8 seasons. I was drafted by them in 16. They took a chance on me, debuted with them in 18. They gave me a second chance after 19 when I struggled so much that it's hard to say anything bad about an organization that gives you your first chance and a second chance and the opportunity to really blossom in the big leagues. That's what happened. They gave me a chance. They turned me into the pitcher I am now through the opportunities that I was given. Had I been with a different organization in a bigger market, you never know what would have happened. So I appreciate everything that organization did for me. The people that are in that organization, teammates, the fan base, everyone was great to me.
Now, let's get to the Orioles. You get traded over there. I mean, obviously, the first 48 hours is definitely a wave of emotion. You go into a new city. You go to Sarasota. It's not an easy place to get a rental, by the way. We tried. We'd always get one the second spring training left. We get it another year. But your first few weeks there, working with Adley, working with McCann, a veteran catcher, working with Bradish. I know he's down a little bit, but working with these guys. And, again, you're the guy they're going to come to. You're Cy Young. They're going to come to you. How has that been? Because, again, the last few years, guys have came to you and Woodruff. You guys are the big dogs of baseball. So how is it now where you're, like, undeniably the guy they're coming to?
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of said that the most important relationships for a pitcher is working with the catchers. So I've started those relationships with both Adley and McCann. They both caught me a decent amount, whether it's bullpens, live BPs, game action the other day. So, the most important relationship for us on the mound is knowing that we can trust the guy behind the plate, and knowing that behind the plate they trust us to hit our spots and go out and stick to the game plan and attack the zone. So first off, that's the most important relationship, and I've gotten that going with them. then next you kind of move into the rest of the pitching staff, like you talked about. They've got a lot of young guys, a lot of guys that are eager for information, wanting to learn. So I've told these guys, hey, whatever you want to know, like I'm an open book. I'll give you whatever I can. If I don't know, I'll go figure it out and help you out. So they've been great coming to me and just helping me, get adapted to this organization. The pitching staff, the analytics group, everyone's just been great as far as reaching out, giving me anything I need. It's definitely weird coming to a new organization because they don't know you, you don't know them. So, the first week or so, it's kind of just figuring everything out, figure out who people are. It's a lot of new faces, a lot of new names. So still working on getting all those down. But it's been great. And so now that I've kind of gotten those relationships started with the rest of the the pitchers and the catchers, I can start to move on with the rest of the guys in the field of establishing that relationship and knowing that, hey, when I'm on the mound, these guys got my back just as much as they got my back when I'm out there.
All right, so that leads me into the next question. It's a two-parter. Do you know everyone's name in the clubhouse just yet? Have you gotten that down? Because I still don't know everyone's name, and I've been around a while.
I would say I probably got 85 or 90% down. There's still obviously some of the young guys that are that you don't know from prospects wise that they're coming up through their system that are in camp for the first time. Those are the guys that they're obviously a little bit quiet. They kind of stay on their own, which I think we all did our first camp. Is you don't want to be seen, but you want to be seen enough to know you're there. But yeah, for the most part, I've gotten to know everyone. So I'm trying to branch out to more of the staff besides the strength staff and the training staff, trying to get to know everyone.
And as far as catching with Adley and with James McCann there, have you developed a rapport with them? They both operate differently. James has been around a lot longer, but Adley's a stud, as you know. Adley loves to come out and have a conversation with the pitcher after each inning. Sometimes there's a hug involved. Have you had a discussion with him about how that will go and what the protocol might be?
So he, I do like to break stuff down with the catchers. I obviously likes to come in and meet you on the field, but there's a lot more conversation that goes after once you get in the dugout too. I think that's it's Adley's personality. He wants the best for you just as much, as you do out there, which is what you're looking for in a catcher. You want a guy that not only puts the work on the offensive side of it, but wants just as much for his pitching staff. You got the right catcher when they go 0-for-4 with a couple of punch outs, but you win 2-0, then they're the most exciting guy in the clubhouse. So we've got two of those guys, which is really good. And an encouraging sign from a pitching staff for sure.
I want to talk about ace mentality. Now, I've already told you, every time I see you, you already know me, ace. I call you that all the time. Some clicked in 21. What was that? That just went from, I got good stuff. We all knew it. We heard about you in 2019, 2020. But what clicked in 2021 that just said, nah, you know what? I'm going to be here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I know of so many guys that have played in this league and so many names that they came up, they did well, they struggled their second, third year, and they just kind of fizzled out. And I didn't want to be one of those guys. So for me, I put a ton of work in on the mental side of it. I felt physically, mechanically, pitch stuff, like everything I felt was there. Yeah. So for me, it was like I had it all. I just needed the mental side of it. I needed to learn how to deal with adversity. I needed to learn how to prepare better coming into each start so that when something went wrong in the first inning, I knew how to adjust and still get through 5 or 6 innings. So for me, I put a lot of work on the mental side of it. The pitching stuff was there. When I got the mental side of it, is kind of when I unlocked, the rest of learning how to pitch and learning how to attack hitters. And then once you do it once, it's there. That feeling. So even, my year last year, I tell people, everyone's like, hey, you had another great year last year. I'm like, personally, that was my worst year. I was able to sell and still throw 195 innings at a 3.3, and I didn't have the feeling for anything, but I knew I had the mentality of, hey, this is what I got today. I better figure it out. I got to get through 6, and I can't wear out this bullpen even more than they've been worn out. So you just kind of learn how to navigate lineups. You had to navigate your routine every 5 days to best put yourself in the position to go out and help your team win. And I've been fortunate enough to learn that through 2019 and 2020, and now I'm in the spot to help other guys learn that as well.
So it's safe to say you want the ball.
Sorry.
Yeah,
it's safe to say you want the ball.
Absolutely. My goal is every 5 days to go out there and pitch, and I want 33, 34 starts. Give me 200 innings, and then game 1 of the postseason, give me the ball and let's roll.
Our exclusive conversation with Orioles ace Corbin Burnes continues in just a moment here on the Adam Jones podcast. But first, we have to acknowledge our loyal and dedicated sponsors, Please go out and support them as they support us.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan, experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones Podcast.
Play the Maryland Lottery. Because fun looks good on you. Right now, play our exciting new multiplier scratch-offs for a chance to win up to $2 million.
If you received ERC funds, listen closely. The IRS has 10 years to audit your claim, but you only have until March 22nd to get taxpayer relief, and the clock is ticking. If you're losing sleep over a possible audit, we'll review your claim. If you made a filing error, we'll set things right. If you're being audited, we'll provide expert representation. The IRS Voluntary Disclosure Program ends March 22nd. You deserve peace of mind. Visit SaveMyERC.com to schedule a consultation today. That's SaveMyERC.com. By Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction, like leak investigation, framing, trim carpentry, insulation, drywall, painting, wallpaper, flooring, masonry, waterproofing, paving, tree removal, and much more. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. 2022. Jack Daniels. All rights reserved. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, you work hard, I work hard, and we all like to save money. That's why we need the Royal Farms ROFO Rewards app to get more value for our hard-earned money. With the app, you earn royalty points on every purchase, can place mobile orders for quick pickup, plus a discount at the gas pump with ROFO Pay. We all like to save money, and with the ROFO Rewards app, we do.
Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Let's get back into it. Our exclusive chat with the Orioles ace, Corbin Burnes, only on the Adam Jones Podcast. Do you have a definition? Yeah, I mean, that's what an ace is. What's your definition of an ace, Corbin? Is it thrown around too loosely in Major League Baseball?
I think everyone has their own definition of an ace. When I look at a guy that's at the top of the rotation, it's a guy kind of like we talked about, taking the ball every 5 days, taking it 33, 34 starts, putting up the numbers, helping the team win every day. When everyone else is kind of struggling in the rotation, you're the guy that goes out and throws 7 innings to help that bullpen, return to being fresh. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily the guy that's got to go out there and have a 3 ERA every year and punching out 250 guys. Like, you can have a guy at the top that has roughly 3.5. But if he's eating 200 innings and he's out there every 5 days, that's a guy you can rely on to eat innings and go out there and perform.
All right, let me ask you this. You're 29 years old, which is pretty young for a Major League Baseball player. I mean, unless you're Gunnar Henderson or Jackson Holliday. But do you feel like you're coming into your prime right now? Do you still have 200 innings and 200 strikeouts underneath your belt for years to come?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still learning a lot. I learn stuff out here every day. I'm fortunate enough this year I get to pitch with Craig Kimbrell, who's done this for 15 years in the big league. So there's a lot to learn from that guy. But yeah, I think there's pieces I pick up every year, pieces I pick up every week, every start, different ways to get hitters out. I'm only getting stronger physically. So it's one of those things that I feel like I still got a lot left in the tank. And, I think 200 innings and 200 Ks is kind of the benchmark now for me to strive for every year. But I always tell everyone, at the end of every season, when they ask, was it a successful year? I'm like, look, I was healthy. I didn't hit the IL. I made my starts every 5 days. I made 32, 33 plus starts. I know if I'm on the field, I'm helping the team a lot more than if I'm on the IL.
What would it take to keep you in Baltimore? That's an agent question. Don't answer. Don't answer.
Let me throw it this way. Let me throw it this way. Besides the money, how much will the atmosphere in the Orioles clubhouse impact your decision making?
Yes, I mean, so far it's been a great group. When you look at the future of Baltimore, it's in that clubhouse. It's the guys that are in there. Like you say, the Gunnar Hendersons, the Jackson Holliday, some of these guys that are 20, 21, 22 years old, coming up, and the guys in the rotation, and Grayson Rodriguez and Bradish, these are all young guys that have bright futures. So as far as being an organization that the future looks bright based off the age of these guys and the core of the group of these guys, it's in a good spot. Obviously with the ownership change, I think it's kind of given some new life to the front office and the guys in here that, hey, there could be some big change coming. So it's definitely an exciting time to be in the Baltimore organization.
Last question I have for you. Adam and I went back and forth this past week talking about possible topics for the podcast, and one was the new uniforms. I snapped a picture of you in your new uniform. You didn't see me. You were walking away from me, like most Major League Baseball players. And I snapped the picture, and all I got was comments about, wow, the numbers look too small. I can barely read the lettering. Then we see that some of the pants are see-through. Is it much ado about nothing with these uniforms? Where do you come in?
So I think, just from hearing what obviously MLB is saying, what Nike's saying, they've been trying to listen to what the players have said for the past couple of years. Like, hey, in the heat of summer, these jerseys, they can be hot. They're a little bit heavy. So something that's a little bit more breathable, a little bit lighter would be nice. And so I think they just probably took the extreme on it and went a little bit too thin with some stuff and made it too light. And it's definitely breathable, as you've seen. There's some pretty see-through pictures. But I think that they obviously they did a new template on the back, so it's a change I think a lot of people weren't expecting to come the first year. So visually, I think that's where it's coming from. The players, obviously with the see-through stuff and the feeling of it, they tried to take into account what we were saying as far as, hey, these jerseys, they're kind of heavy, they're pretty hot, and so I think they just went a little too far in the extreme. So I think they, instead of maybe going from a 2 to a 10 on the breathable scale, maybe they should have jumped it to a 5 or a 6 before they just turned the dial all the way up. But we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. Corbin, we really appreciate the time and wish you nothing but success throughout the season. Can't wait to see you down in Sarasota next week, too.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you, guys. Appreciate having me on.
Well, he was pretty awesome. Corbin Burnes, great to have on the Adam Jones podcast for the first time, AJ. And you guys have a history.
I think that Birdland is just going to be excited to see this guy pitch, and they're going to just be enamored by how he presents himself and what he's going to teach these other kids and players. I just think his impact is going to be a lot bigger than we expected. I'm just so glad he's in the black and orange now.
Love some of his answers and can't wait to see him on the bump. All right, time to move on for our For the Birds segment. It's brought to us by the Maryland Lottery. Hey, when you play the Maryland Lottery, set limits, never play when you're stressed, and know your odds of winning. To learn more, visit mdlottery.com/play responsibly. Of course, must be 18 years older to play. I think both of us qualify in that respect. All right. So fans coming onto the court in collegiate sports.
Fans stormed on the court. Duke Ford Filipowski, Kyle Filipowski hurt his knee. Not sure how bad just yet, but he was vocal about it afterwards.
I absolutely feel like it was personal, intentional for sure.
When are we going to ban court storming? Like, when are we going to ban that? Like, how many times does a player have to get into something where they get punched or they get pushed or they get taunted right in their face? And it's a dangerous thing.
For me, it's not okay. It's never been okay in professional sports. And we've had this discussion in the past when we've seen idiots run on the field intoxicated, presumably, during Major League Baseball games or NFL games. But why aren't the colleges doing more? I know what happened a week ago with LSU and Kentucky, when LSU upset Kentucky on a last-second basket. Their fans ran onto the court, and Kentucky got $100,000 out of that because the SEC has a fine in place, so the money had to be paid by LSU to Kentucky. Do you think that's an incentive to try and keep these kids off the court, or do they need to hire more security, AJ?
Well, I mean, there's been so many opinions around it. I've heard some good ones. I think Richard Jefferson had a good one saying, if you're a mid-major team and you beat the blue, the Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Villanova, Georgetown back in the day, if like you beat those certain teams, you storm the court. It's a fine line nowadays. I think that with social media and you see these kids running the court, not really caring where they're going. They're trying to get to the excitement. I've heard other people saying, hold off, give the opposing team 30 seconds to get off. And because, those guys, the fans are ready to go and they're itching. Just give the team 30 seconds just to get off the court. Again, the team knows they got their butt whooped and they don't, but they shouldn't have to be subject to the fans running on, especially in today's climate, people just running over, not caring. You suck, yelling things at them that have been doing the whole game. The reason why you don't see it in pro ball is, people have been there before. I think in college, it's 4 years, some people longer if you're, Van Wilder, but it's like, you go to college, some people never win games in college. Some people go to schools and get 4 national championships in different sports. So I think that unique college experience is something you can't take away. But at the same time, you just got to watch out for the safety of the players. And if you give them a 30 seconds, minute to get off, that's not going to stop the fans. That's not going to stop them less. It's not going to be like, oh, it's a mood swing now. It's a mood kill. No, they're still going to be ready to go. But just let the players get off the court. That's it.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. Just let them get off the court.
Yeah, I get it's a blast. You upset a team and all that. But it's a safety issue, as you mentioned, first and foremost.
Just get them off the court, though. But if you're in college and those 4 years are very special, you get to do something very, very unique. And I've seen relationships, no matter if they're 20, 30 years apart, if you went to said school, you have said relationship with the person that you don't even know. So I understand these kind of things with it. Just get the players off. What about celebrate for sure? But just get.
What about having like a dozen dedicated police that can form some sort of funnel to get the players off the court? They have to go through the police, to get off the court, keep the fans away, and allow a minute to go by, and then the fans can run on the court.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just give them the time, and with these big teams coming in, when Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky comes into town, there's extra security because these teams don't come into certain places so often. LSU, Kentucky, I know LSU's men basketball isn't what LSU's women basketball is. LSU's football and baseball and gymnastics. I know their basketball team they ain't been that good since Ben Simmons. They weren't that good then. So I understand that Kentucky's still a major, major win, but it's SEC. Now I can see if it was, Louisiana Lafayette upsetting Kentucky. I can see that. They're not going to see that often, but I get it. Just let the guys get off the court. Celebrate. I think fans need to celebrate. That's an incredible thing because, again, when Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke comes to your city, they usually pummel you. And you go 4 years of getting absolutely pummeled by these teams. So when you finally beat them, it's celebratory. And I get it. Just get them off. That's it.
This has been going on for a while. I believe it's been magnified because a Duke player was involved at Wake Forest last weekend. Right. And God forbid a Duke player got hurt. And also the great Caitlin Clark. So it's not just the men, it's the women as well. She got stormed or almost run over by an Ohio State fan a few weeks ago running onto the court.
I've seen that. And she's, obviously her influence and what she's doing, Caitlin Clark, is amazing. Every game is sold out. Every road game has been sold out. I seen her when she was at Maryland. Every game is just incredible.
She's must-see TV.
she's must-see TV for sure. And it's the safety issue. And how polarizing now women's basketball is. It's amazing that there's so much attention is going LSU, South Carolina, Kentucky. Connecticut, Tennessee, North Carolina. Like, these schools are hungry, and these young ladies are balling, and the fans are coming out and supporting it. And that's the beauty of it. So when Iowa goes to Arkansas or Ohio State, and generally that's like you're talking about two juggernauts going against each other. It's not something that I would be like, oh, storm the court over that. But being the number one team in the nation, whenever you beat the number one team in the nation and you're not ranked, you storm the court. Just get them off. That's it. And now I see when she everywhere she's at, they have extra security around the Iowa team just for things like that. Because, again, you can't stop the fans from having a good time. You just have to just make sure that the players are out of the way in safety. Because, hell, the home team, they want to turn up what they people do. Like, they want to. But if they don't, if you ask them, they would just be like, hey, just give us 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, something just to move to the side. And then let the young kids go there and have at it.
And the last word on this, the key phrase there that you had was turned up, because most of the students on the floor certainly turned up after 60 minutes of basketball. Or 40 minutes, I should say.
40 minutes. I mean, just you're lit.
I added 20 minutes of tailgating.
It's a just a unique environment. And I remember when I first got to Baltimore, and my boy Patrick Thomas, who would PT, we'd always go down to Maryland games, and he loved Grievous Vasquez. And Maryland those years were competitive. They weren't good, but they were competitive. And I was a North Carolina fan, always giving them stuff about it. But you just see the college passion is just different. It's different. And I remember when they beat North Carolina, storming the court, like it's different. That's a once in a lifetime thing that people in that era, in that timeline, have unique experiences. I got friends that won college, that won national championships. They were along the ride for their football team, or in the basketball team, or the baseball team. Like, those are things that are lifelong. I know football or basketball storms the court more, but football will do it too if they get a good win.
And you could also
even more of a
say the
safety
line.
issue. But those guys are in uniform, and I wouldn't dare go after a guy if I just lost in a uniform that's got a helmet on. I wouldn't do that.
And you could also make this argument now with NILs. College sports is as close to pro sports as they've ever been before. So they should be treated accordingly. All right, let's move along, because this sort of ties into our next segment. It's Baltimore and beyond, our national and sometimes international perspective. And this week, it's all about the concept of all-star games, which are supposed to be for the fans. But they seem to be declining in what is a much softer, in my opinion, sports society, where I hear athletes like Jaylen Brown saying, we had a fine line. We were trying to decide whether we wanted to play hard or avoid injury during the NBA All-Star game, in which no defense was played whatsoever. So what's the point of holding the game if it's just going to be a three-point shooting dunk contest?
Well, what they do is, a minute from that, again, the All-Star game has not been as good as it used to be. And I understand that. Like, I understand these guys not trying to hurt themselves in these All-Star games. Like, when I was in an All-Star game, I'm not going to stretch too. I'm not going to slide. I'm not diving.
You will not dive for a ball.
Hell no, not doing an All-Star game. It maybe go up against a wall or something. Yeah, but you have to protect yourself. But at the same time, what they do away from that All-Star week is we just see the game. If you've ever been to All-Star week, they do so much. The players do so much with the fans. They do so much with the community where they're at and involved. So I respect so much about what they do off the court. I know on the court, we want the product. We want that competitive game, even if it's competitive in the last, 6 minutes of the game, which it used to be. It always was. The first 3 quarters were some fun. The last quarter, all right, let's get to it. Make it incentive-based. I remember when MLB All-Star Game was incentive-based about being the winner gets to host the World Series. If the winner gets to host Eastern and Western Conference, they get to host it. But this is the first year in a while they went back to East and West. They were the team, so obviously that equation didn't work. But I think outside of just watching the score, 211, 186, damn, how do you even score that? You can't score that much in practice. But I look at it as it's like they're having a good time. They're putting on a show for the fans, windmill and all that kind of stuff. You see Adam
I don't
Silver
think the fans were too happy with the performance, to be honest.
I don't. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if Jaylen Brown's playing hard and he's and he knocks knees with LeBron trying to go and then he misses 10 games with the Celtics.
Okay, someone has to remind me the last time someone of substance got hurt in an all-star
but you also have to,
game.
There's always injuries that happen. Like there's underlining things that you don't know, like that happen. Like there's tweaks, and they're like, "Oh, why did this guy play longer in the All-Star game?" Yeah, he might have did something, and then a week later you hear about it. There's always something.
Well, LeBron was a case. LeBron was a classic case,
but he's also in 20. He's also year 20.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just year 20. Get in the game, starts, dabs everybody up. He's the GOAT in that regards. He's 20 years into it. No one's ever done it. He's got the most points, most minutes. Like the dude is unbelievable. There's save the minutes for my Lakers.
Yeah.
Save the minutes for my Lakers, buddy. Save those minutes for that. And
well, I mean, he didn't play in the second half, so he can rest his ankle a little bit more.
He didn't need to play any. He didn't need to play at all. Didn't need to play at all. Let the young guys go.
That's fine. You played in 5 Major League Baseball All-Star games, as we always point out. They were competitive, though, weren't they, at that point when you were playing in those games? I mean, guys gave a crap. It seemed like everything changed in 2002 when Bud Selig held his hands up after it was, tied 7-7 in Milwaukee in the end of the All-Star game in a tie. It seemed like everything changed with the All-Star game after that. That's when they had the incentive of the winner of the game gets home field advantage for the World Series, and that didn't seem to play over well with the players.
I mean, if you give an incentive base, you make the game even more competitive. But at the end of the day, like if you're an all-star, you won. The most important thing as a player is that the team that you're representing, the Orioles for me, that I gave them the most of my effort. At the All-Star game, I'm going to give my effort. I'm going to get 2 at-bats. I'm going to have fun. I'm not diving. I'm not trying to break up a double play. When I get back to the Orioles, let's go. It's all hands on deck. So you have to reserve yourself for this All-Star game. You have to. The fans, they get it. I mean, I believe the fans get it. And if you want to see these guys, or you want to see 110 to 108 score, but you might get your favorite player get an elbow, because, again, these are the greatest players on earth playing. So the competitive, if you want to talk about competitive, the best players are the most competitive. Like there's going to be elbows. There's going to be some. So you would like if Jaylen Brown got an elbow to the nose, you would like if this guy, like, I get it. Trust me. I want a lower score. 200 is absurd.
For one
that's
team,
absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd. I mean, that's not even defense. I don't even know how you do that. But I just think the product of what the NBA is doing and what they do and they give back, I think that is a great job.
And Adam,
baseball does it the best, though. Baseball does it the best.
No
NFL,
doubt. And I
done a good job lately.
I omitted the NFL, which really started this whole thing in playing no defense.
100%.
That's why they've gone to things like dodgeball and flag football.
But I think those are cool too, because look at why these guys played 5-6 months of getting hit, and then here's especially the guys that lost in the previous game to get to the Super Bowl. Now you got to go there. Yeah, like those guys might be mad, but you've already beaten each other up all year. Just no need for it. And so I like the transition. They said, we're going to open it up. We're not going to do this big Pro Bowl. We're going to do it again. Dodgeball, flag football, the golf. They do all these different activities, and it just shows the different personalities and different athleticism of these players. And I like that obviously more. I like when they do the skills competitions. I like when they do these different things, because it just shows the different different athlete of them. Do you want to see a strong safety go hit somebody? Yeah, I want to see that. But we've seen enough of it. Okay?
Yeah, I miss Sean Taylor knocking out the punter.
Exactly. But you're not going to get that no more. It's okay for them to just have fun. They earned it. And just have a good time. That's the part with the All-Star game. It's a good time. Enjoy it, the accolade, but your focus is on your team. Ask anybody. The focus is on your team. That's why they say, I need a big second half out of you. Oh, well, I gave all to the All-Star game. No, I need a big second half out of you. So it's, baseball does it the best.
Well, that's why I leaned on you, because the next time I go to the All-Star game and participate, I'll be able to share my experience just like yours.
No, they're fun. Well,
we'll be waiting a lifetime for that to occur. So, as in never. All right, let's head into our final segment. It's called Socially Speaking. This is where we answer a tweet or social media post. We are on all 3 of the major platforms. We're going to be adding a YouTube page and TikTok at some point, maybe TikTok, we'll see. But certainly X, Facebook, and of course, Instagram. You can find us at Adam Jones Pod on all three, at Adam Jones Pod. Chip will put up the graphic there for those watching on YouTube, or you can email us at theadamjonespod@gmail.com, theadamjonespod@gmail.com, excuse me, thinking about corn on the cob. And by the way, we're going to have some great videos courtesy of our main host coming from, well, Birdland very soon on the new YouTube page. So we're looking forward to that. As Adam is in Florida, if you haven't noticed, I'm in Baltimore, which is why I'm double layered, but we'll be in Sarasota next week. So we got a couple of correspondences on X. You tweeted about which guests folks want to see coming up in future episodes of the Adam Jones podcast. And Chad wrote in at Chad Kendrick 54. I really enjoyed the Dontrell Willis interview. He was one of my favorite players growing up. Ultimate gamer. I would like to see Wayne Kirby, Cal Ripken, Hyun-Soo Kim, Ben McDonald, and new Orioles owner David Rubenstein. So Chad's got a big wish list.
Okay, I see that. Kirby, I think I can get Kirby. Mr. Rubenstein, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. Owners, name an owner that's ever spoke. Cal's a tough one, and I know his son wants to get him, and I know he's leaving in that ace in the hole. Cal's a tough one, but I would love to, because obviously to talk about just the history of the game and how the team, the direction of the team. Obviously, he's a big fan of the team, and you see him at a lot of games, and he would have a very, very good insight on the team. Hyun-Soo Kim, I'll be in Korea for the Korean series, so we'll try that. I will try that. That would be a good one.
And Ben McDonald, of course, is a given.
Ben McDonald, yeah. I think Ben McDonald would be great too, because again, he can talk about the transformation of the pitching, of the whole culture of pitching in Baltimore in the last 7 years since he's been there. I think 7-8 years, something like that. So
yeah, he's been doing this week what you're going to be doing in a couple of weeks coming up with the Orioles as a coach with them. And I don't know if he's traveling with the team or not. So I think that option may be up to you, whether or not you want to make a road trip, but we can talk about that
next week I'll be coaching. I'm gonna have my fungo and be more of a Bobby Knight type coach. No, I just want to go there and be a big brother. Anybody that needs any help, any talking, anything anybody needs. I just want to be a source. I've reached out to a couple guys, Willie Randolph, Kirby, and just asked them how do you get back into the game? How do you just how? And all of them have given me really good advice, and just be myself, and just try to be a brother and a resource. My career, I had my career. There's no need to be like, oh, well, back in my day. Nah, it's your day, and how can I make your day better? It's not 2012. It's 2012. How can I make 2024 and 25? How can I make that better?
I can tell you a lot of Oriole fans that I've spoken with very excited that you're back in the fold going down to Sarasota. All right, let's get back to the more conversations we were having inside Socially Speaking, because Michelle in Maryland wrote in, Buck was my favorite so far. I would like to see you interview your family, their perspective of watching you travel, change teams, and succeed in your career. We had a couple of people ask about Buck, and for anyone asking, he came on last year. Check our vast archives of over 50 interviews. If you want to catch the Jones family on the Adam Jones podcast, just watch the background when he's in Barcelona. They make cameo appearances all the time. They're unpaid cameos, but they're on there.
Yeah. Oh, but the kids are definitely on there. In the end, people they've not. I guess they just haven't seen our previous stuff, and that's good. And I mean, we still have the ammo, and we can go back and tell them to go back and listen to these older episodes. Go back and listen to Griffey. Go back and listen to JJ. Go back and listen to Weeders. We've had all the guys that they've really wanted on, and you can go back and listen to them. And that's the beautiful part about it. There's some really good interviews. There's better ones to come. I mean, I just think that what we're doing and just trying to connect the Birdland to, I guess the reality, some beat writers can't ask certain things. And again, that's just how it works. We're able to just see them a little bit different. You got Harbaugh, trying to get his dad. That'd be great. Try to get Jim. I mean, he's going to the Chargers. So there's just so many cool things that we've done so far and still to come. So I think people, if they haven't seen our episodes or they have a request, maybe we've already done it so they can go back. And again, maybe we can have them again. And you know what? Chip, you're right about this one. Jeffrey Mayer. He owes Baltimore an explanation.
We can get him on. I know he tried his hand. I know he tried his hand at
Oh.
minor league baseball. I don't know where he is now, but I'm sure we can track
why
him
not?
down. But
Yeah.
John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, we expect both
We've
of
had
those
some
guys
great
to
ones.
return
Yeah, we've had
for
great
season
ones.
3 of the Adam Jones podcast. Notice you don't see him on any other podcasts. I think I pointed that out a few times, but they're not really into doing a lot of podcasts, except ours, it seems.
No.
All right,
Mayer was in the Orioles system,
Yeah.
and they didn't call him up. They
I-
should have called him up just so he can get booed. Like, just call him up, get a standing ovation of boo.
I didn't know if he was in the Orioles system or not. We'll have to
Okay,
research
I don't
that
Okay.
or edit this part out. One more correspondence in our Socially Speaking segment, finally from Noah at Noah Buyer 01. He chimed in with this. Chris Davis and Buck were the best guests. You got to eventually get Adley on, O'Day, Steve Pierce, and he mentioned Gary Thorne would be cool too. And I agree with any or all of those guys, AJ.
Okay. All right. I love Gary Thorne. And I want to get him. I can reach out to Mr. Thorne. I can reach O'Day. I know he's working a lot with the Braves right now, which is great. He's still keeping himself busy. So I'll definitely reach out to him. And again, I have a list in my head and on paper of guys that I would like to get. But that's why I ask. Yeah, these are the fans. See what, give the fans what they want. Steve Pierce would be a good one. That underdog. Got 10 years in the big leagues. Love me some Pierce. So, I like those.
It's a good list, absolutely. And we know that Eric Hosmer is going to appear at some point on this podcast because he tweeted back at you this past week.
Yeah, Haas is going to come on soon. I know he just retired. Hell of a career. I know Orioles fans, I know they kicked our butts in 14, I know. But Haas had a hell of a career and happy, got to know him away from the game and just a great dude. So
we're
happy and check out see what he's doing with his life, the rest of his life.
We'll save him for mid-season, but he's down the road. We're focusing on the Orioles right now. We do want to thank our loyal and dedicated sponsors. Here they are. Please go out and support them, folks. They make this podcast happen.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience nonstop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones Podcast.
Play the Maryland Lottery. Because fun looks good on you. Right now, play our exciting new multiplier scratch-offs for a chance to win up to $2 million.
If you received ERC funds, listen closely. The IRS has 10 years to audit your claim, but you only have until March 22nd to get taxpayer relief, and the clock is ticking. If you're losing sleep over a possible audit, we'll review your claim. If you made a filing error, we'll set things right. If you're being audited, we'll provide expert representation. The IRS Voluntary Disclosure Program ends March 22nd. You deserve peace of mind. Visit SaveMyERC.com to schedule a consultation today. That's SaveMyERC.com. By Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction, like leak investigation, framing, trim carpentry, insulation, drywall, painting, wallpaper, flooring, masonry, waterproofing, paving, tree removal, and much more. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks 2022. Jack Daniels, all rights reserved. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for Bet Parks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, you work hard, I work hard, and we all like to save money. That's why we need the Royal Farms ROFO Rewards app to get more value for our hard-earned money. With the app, you earn royalty points on every purchase, can place mobile orders for quick pickup, plus a discount at the gas pump with ROFO Pay. We all like to save money, and with the ROFO Rewards app, we do.
Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Also, thanks to senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this episode together. Chip pays attention to half of the podcast. The other half, he's tweeting out or texting us meaningless baseball stats that only he cares about, but we thank him for his participation.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
Go out and subscribe to the Baltimore Banner. Until next time, be real, be kind, and make sure to be back next week when we're in Sarasota for another edition of the Adam Jones Podcast. Get out of here.